what I have seen, and maybe the reason, as we saw with Kevin Hickey in New York, that he doesn't get lefties out, he's got a better slider than he does a fastball, and he has a better control with his slider because the break of the ball puts the ball in a better position. Does not make good pitches against lefties from the left-handed side, so that is not going to get left-handers out. This is another case. He's going to face right-hander who is hitting 391s against lefties in 1991.
2 men on, 2 men out. Karkovice, who has some power, is the possible tie run. There's a wild pitch. Throw him a slider right away. Threw it in the dirt. So look out.
Well, I don't know if he crossed him up or if it was that good a slider. I think Bob Melvin, who did not catch him the other night, he should have caught the ball, even though the ball sharps breakly. I mean, right here, he just doesn't think the ball is going to break that much. And it does, it goes by him. They may score a wild pitch, but it should be a fast ball.
And it is a slider. On the other hand, it's one of those almost in between slider slurve type. I mean, it breaks a lot.
Oh, yeah. It's big, but it's very hard. Now, Sparky Lyle had one of those. So did Lolich. So did Guidry.
Ron Guidry, yeah. 1 ball, no strikes. That's a strike. 1-1. And Steve Carlton.
Oh, yeah. Well, National League, 318 wins. Hall of Fame as soon as he's eligible.
You beat him the only time you had a decision against him, as I recall.
He was easy. Piece of cake.
In a World Series.
In a World Series, right.
Yeah. 1 ball, 1 strike. Bloop and Bell. No problem. No problemo. Which is incorrect to say. No problema. But if you're the Terminator, no problemo.
John, it's a key out. Any way you put it.
Well done by Jim Poole. 3-0 Orioles going to the 9th.
What do you love about Baltimore?
The people.
The pride.
The seafood.
Have a hat.
The culture.
Have a hat.
The steps. The entertainment.
The seafood. Seafood.
Have a hat. There's a lot to love about Baltimore, and 9 out of 10 of you find your favorite things in Baltimore's favorite Yellow Pages.
The genuine C&P Telephone Yellow Pages. 9 out of 10 use it, nor the book can match it. A Bell Atlantic company.
Thanks for the memories of seasons filled with fun, scoring the winning run, swinging bats and baseball caps, the times we lost, the times we won. Thanks for the memories.
Sunday, August 11th, when the Orioles play the White Sox, all fans receive the third of 4 card collector sets featuring every player in Orioles history. This set includes 120 baseball cards, compliments of Crown Petroleum and Coca-Cola.
Like Coach always said, hit him in the numbers.
Who do the pros call for an all-pro deal on hot, delicious pizza? Who do you think?
Hello, Domino's Pizza.
Call now for Domino's kickoff deal. 2 medium cheese pizzas with 4 servings of Coca-Cola Classic or Diet Coke for just $9.99. And get free NFL quarterback trading cards.
Only from Domino's. Now you call.
Watch for the results of this week's Beat the Pro from Forest Park Golf Course on Sunday Sports Extra with Keith Mills. Sunday night at 11:15 on Channel 2.
John Miller, Jim Palmer with you from Chicago. Remember, television all weekend long here from Comiskey Park, including tomorrow at 7. Jim and Brooks Robinson, and they'll also be with you on Sunday afternoon at 2:35. Well, 2:30 telecast time. Bob Malaki tomorrow versus Jack McDowell. Tim Raines now playing center field for the White Sox, and Ron Karkovice is now playing left field. Of course. Here is Leo Gomez, 0 for 1 with a walk and a sacrifice bunt. Stride.
Yeah, Ken Harrelson in the next booth saying, see, they finally got the catcher in left field. That's what I suggested years ago. Yeah. Move Fisk out there.
Well, he wanted Fisk in left field and Karkovice behind the plate.
Yeah, I know. And the theory behind it was pretty good.
I think Fisk won on that one.
Yes, I think he says, I don't want to play left field. I don't want to think about playing left field. And I won't play left field.
It's 5 years later, and Karkovice is in left field. We've come full circle.
Good theory, though. He could play more in left than catch.
Except he forgot to ask Carlton.
Yes, good point.
Patterson to the plate. 1-2. Carlton, I mean, he hated it, and with good reason. here he was having a chance at the Hall of Fame as a catcher and some all-time Hall of Fame type numbers as a catcher, and then moving him to left field. Are you kidding me? And he resisted it big time. That's a foul out of play. Fisk giving chase. But I mean, if that move had actually happened, I mean, it happened for a while. Fisk played there, what, a couple of months and played poorly out there. Well, we're looking at right there. There's the man who has hit more homers than any other catcher in history. He doesn't have that record if they make that move. He's up on the all-time list for games caught. He's not up there if he makes that move 5 years ago.
Well, he's got 2,110. What did Boone have? Somewhere around
6,000.
No.
It seems like it.
He caught a long time, didn't he?
Yeah, well, Boone it's right around there.
Yeah.
Very close. But Boone did not do it in one league. Fisk has always been in the American League. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Gomez. 2-2. Carlton, very fine athlete. I saw him one night in Boston 11 years ago. Started a game at third base and actually caught a ball there, which brought a tremendous round of laughter from his teammates the way he caught it. Grabs some bench, yeah. Strike 3 to Leo Gomez. 1 away here in the 9th inning. 3-0 Orioles.
Well, an impressive fastball, and you wonder how the Yankees ever let Ken Patterson go. Jerry Royster a trade. They needed a utility guy, so they get Royster from the White Sox. 3rd round draft choice, and 3rd round draft choices usually have good arms. See a hard slider and a good fastball from the lefty.
Ball 1 to Melvin. Driven in a run tonight. By the way, I've looked it up. Bob Boone, 2,225 games caught. I would say Fisk then is #1 in the history of the American League for games caught. Who was up there? Al Lopez. And Jim Sundberg looked like he might make it for a while, but he played some time in the National League here in Chicago with the Cubs. Fisk is the only modern catcher in modern baseball history to top the century mark in both homers and stolen bases. And just the 3rd catcher in the history of the game to hit 300 homers, score 1,000 runs, and have 1,000 RBIs. And yes, the closer has begun to warm up. Greg Olson. 3-0 the count to Melvin. But many of those things would not have happened had that move been a success. And therein was the argument between Fisk and Hawk Harrelson. And it sounds like a selfish argument from Fisk's point of view, but I mean, he was a guy, I think it wasn't just a selfish point of view, it's the fact that he had a lot of years invested as a catcher, and he truly felt his value to the club was still as a catcher.
Well, there's nobody on this ball club that will tell you anything but what a positive effect he has on that pitching staff, especially a young pitching staff like, I mean, other than Charlie Huff, who wasn't here last year, you don't have anybody with any kind of tenure, any kind of experience factor.
Ball 4 to Melvin. 2nd walk allowed by Patterson. 5th walk all told by Chicago pitching. And here is Tito Bell. 1 for 3, a double and a run battered in tonight. Hit the ball real hard twice. A lot of finals. Detroit beat the Yankees 7-3 on the Maryland National scoreboard. Boston defeated Toronto 5-3. So Detroit is only 5 games out. Yanks 8.5. Boston 9. Texas leads Milwaukee 12-1 in the 9th inning at Milwaukee. And Jim, you mentioned that Pirates game. They were ahead 3-0 at St. Louis. They lost it 4-3 in the bottom of the 9th. What's that? 7 in a row they've lost.
All on the road.
And that's they're in the middle of a 14-game road trip. They're not going to get home for a while yet. Their longest road trip of the year.
But staying right with them as far as losses, the New York Mets.
They lost again tonight to the Cubs. So they remain 5 games out. 3-0 here, the Orioles, 9th inning. That's foul. 2 strikes. The Orioles got 2 in the 5th. Driven in by Melvin and Bell. Milligan started the inning with a single. There's Brian Draymond back up in the Chicago bullpen, a right-hander. Milligan singled, Martinez doubled, Gomez walked, and then Melvin got a sacrifice fly. And then Bell legged out a would-be double play ball on a wide throw by Guillen. And in the 6th, Orsolak with a hustle triple and Cal Ripken with a fly ball to bring him home. That has been all of this morning. 1 and 2, 3-0. Sort of like an old-time Orioles game here. Just enough offense in the clutch and strong pitching.
No, the one constant that the Orioles have had all year long is good defense. Talking to Mike Flanagan, it's not like they give 4 or 5 outs on many occasions. About 5-6 years ago, that was not the case.
Foul ball. Melvin at first, 1 out. Devereaux would be next. The Orioles for the whole year have made only 60 errors. This is their 101st game. So it's an excellent
but we
game.
also talked about how many balls, there are a lot of teams that don't make errors on balls they should have gotten to. That's not the case with this ball club. They don't give you a lot of extra outs, and the pitching still not as good as it should be.
And out of play. So Bell making Patterson struggle a bit here in the 9th inning.
Oh, he even hit the ball well from the right side up in Seattle. Double up the gap. Also a couple of long fly balls. One that Ken Griffey Jr. ran down. Tell you what, he is impressing a lot of people, and if the Orioles indeed are still trying to trade him, I got to think he's got a lot more value over the last 10 days of this season.
Well, Patterson's thrown him about every kind of a pitch he can think of here. Bell keeps finding them off. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
It's interesting. I got a letter from a lady, and I made a comment that I felt that maybe he did not fit in with this ball club. The fact that didn't speak English and whatever. There are other organizations that may give him more of a chance. The lady said that I was trying to say that segregation isn't good. I certainly don't agree with that. I mean, I do agree with that. But the point is, there are maybe other organizations that will give Juan more of a chance to show that he's a major league player. If I offended anybody, I certainly would like to take this time to apologize, but that's not the case.